Hello and welcome to Howard's Horse Handicapping. This is Howard Kravitz. Thank you for joining me very much. What an unbelievable day of racing on Saturday, including huge news on the Kentucky Derby scene. Thank you very much for joining me. Please make sure you subscribe at the corner of the screen there and also follow me on Twitter at HKravitz and also comment down below the video player on anything that we're going to talk about here on this video, including the recap of Saturday races at the Fairgrounds. Before we get to those races, the big news, and I mean very big news and unfortunate news, coming out of the Kentucky Derby Trail. Not only was the Louisiana Derby, but Life is Good, the prohibitive favorite right now for Bob Baffert, had a workout, came out of the workout a little bit off. As of this recording, we do not know how long Life is Good is going to be out, but he is officially off the Triple Crown Trail, a huge development. And really, overall, I'm disappointed. I not because I had any future bet or any real interest in Life is Good, but I think as a horse fan, we just like to see brilliance, or at least I do. This horse was very fast and looked like he could be something special. So from that standpoint, I'm disappointed. However, from a betting perspective, this really opens up the Kentucky Derby. And if you have a future wager, and I'm not really huge on betting future wagers. But if you have one on anyone other than Life is Good, you are now automatically going to get a much better price on your future bet, most likely, than what you're going to get on Derby Day. So this changes the entire picture of the Kentucky Derby. Obviously, takes the main speed, at least as of right now, out of the Kentucky Derby. There's still a long way to go in terms of all these 100-point prep races, but Life is Good, the prohibitive favorite for the Kentucky Derby, out of the Triple Crown Trail. Hopefully, he will come back later in the year. We'll see him healthy because you don't want to see these special horses go down for the count too long. Let's go ahead and talk about the races on Saturday. This is going to be a pretty quick recap. But before we do that, let's talk about Thursday. So, Thursday night, we're going to go an hour later. We're going to go at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central, for the live streaming show. And we're going to be covering what's going to be a great day of racing at Gulfstream Park, including the Florida Derby. They have many stakes on their undercard. And also, one of my favorite races of the year, I have an interesting history with the Dubai World Cup, which I'm going to talk about on Thursday night. It's one of my favorite races of the year. I studied pretty hard. We're also going to do a preview of the Dubai World Cup in Maidan, which is on Saturday, also around lunchtime. So again, please make sure you join me for those races. The reason why we're going to go an hour earlier on Thursdays, you can see I got my nice fresh haircut. I am on my way to Las Vegas, as I mentioned in my preview video. I'm excited, ready to go, and I'm coming back on Thursday. I just want to make sure there's enough buffer time there in case there's any travel issues. I'm not expecting any. The weather should be fine, and I'm sure I'll be back in time. So again, please join me on Thursday. We're going to go an hour later, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Had the best live stream we've had by far. Had a lot of people joining in the chat. It was fantastic. Again, if you're new to this channel, please join me for great conversation next Thursday night. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the sequence at the Fairgrounds this past Saturday. Now, as you know, I'm very honest, full disclosure, had mixed results. I did not hit the pick five. I was out after leg two. Had a really tough beat in leg two, which we're going to talk about it. I talked about three long shots, Joy Pafora, Enforceable, and the one I really liked a lot, Super Sensational. And I can't say, although none of them won their races, I still feel like they justified my opinions. I don't know. Comment down below. I'll be happy to respond to your comments. We had a great conversation in the comments below the video player on the preview show on Thursday, and tell me what you think. Two of those three horses, Enforceable and Super Sensational, were the second longest prices on the board in both races. So the fact that they both hit the board, I felt pretty good about that, and I thought, they justified my opinion. But unfortunately, I did not hit the pick five. Hopefully, you did out there and cashed. So we're going to go pretty quickly through these races. We're going to show the replay of the races. I'm going to briefly talk about some of these horses and discuss where they might go from here. So the first race that we are going to discuss is the Tom Benson Memorial. This was a wide open race. Now, what I did in the pick five, because there were some major scratches in the older male turf race, I pretty much played a weighted all button. I decided to spread here deeper. I played everyone except for two horses in this race. So I very much decided to spread here. Also, of course, we had a chance to see the board and see what the board looked like. And there were some horses taking some interesting money that I felt like I had to use. I was completely against the three Dalika. I did tweet out that I upgraded her a little bit from a C to a B, only because the turf seemed to be a bit speed favoring. But in general, I did not like Dalika, and her price in this race, I think she was 2-1. And I tweeted this out, was absolutely ridiculous. I could not believe the odds on Dalika. But we'll go ahead and watch the race there, and then we'll talk about the results. It was the turf course that, like I said, was playing a little bit speed favoring. Joy Epifora, who I believe was about 10-1, was right here and got a fantastic trip and a fantastic ride from James Graham. You can see they're all sort of lining up five across the track. The winner, by the way, of this race, Summer in Saratoga. I mean, what a fantastic! I have to pause right here. Irad Ortiz from the 12 hole was able to get all the way over the rail with this horse. That's just a fantastic job of getting over and saving ground. Joy before is in the red. We're just going to go ahead and let it play here. There are five across the track early. Catch a bid, the 12 gets the worst of it by far and was no factor in this race whatsoever. You see his glory was on the lead, 55-1. Dominga coming off a layoff of Brad Cox, getting a very nice trip there in second. The favorite Delika was sitting in third. They went 23-3, which is definitely a pretty decent pace there, considering it was a good 47-3 to the half. So they're going a pretty good clip here. Again, Joy before the 7, getting a fantastic trip there in behind, saving ground on the rail. Summer in Saratoga with Irad the 13, also getting a great trip. And you'll see there's a little bit of trouble on the turn right there. And you see Joy before and some or Saratoga just staying on the rail on the inside. And you can see right here, Dominga takes the lead. And right about here, here's Joy before. I was starting to get very excited. You see 10-1 on the board because not only was it a great ride. It was a great trip. I mean, everything right here. Joy before, absolutely no excuses, and does take the lead here. But then she begins to hang a little bit. I thought right here she might go by. When she doesn't go by really easily, I knew I might be in trouble. And you see winning envelope for Chris Block, and here is Summer in Saratoga coming over the top to win the race. Dominga coming off a long layoff for Brad Cox, running very well for a second there. Winning envelope got third in the race. An excellent effort there by her as well. And we'll go ahead and take a look at. Hold on one second. Sorry. There we go. Um, Here was the chart right there. You see Summer in Saratoga wins, paying 20-20. She went off at 9-1. Catch a bid finishes last. Dalika finishes fourth to last as the favorite at 5-2. You see their prices all over the place. Joy before my long shot finishes fourth, although I have to say it was a little bit disappointed because she did have the lead mid-stretch and got a great trip, just wasn't classy enough. I think what you need to take out of this race is the 1, 2, 3 finishers in this race were not in the race a month ago. So obviously that race that we previewed and watched was not uh, a very good race as it turns out. I was against Alika, but I thought some other horses in there were interesting. I'm sorry, I didn't actually show that. I apologize to everyone. So there it is. Excuse me. There you can see the chart. Summer in Saratoga, uh, 9-1. Like I said, Catch a Bid was last. Lika, fourth to last. Joy before, like I said, a little bit of a disappointing fourth. But anyway, the 1, 2, 3 finishers did not uh, come out of the same race as a lot of these horses did a month ago. So obviously, that was not a very strong race. Domingo's definitely going to move forward. You'd figure Summer in Saratoga is going to move forward. I did not have Summer Saratoga on our original preview show. Joe Sharp had two. He had Catch a Bid and Summer in Saratoga. And I talked about it on Twitter. I don't know about you guys. When there's a coupled entry, don't you feel like you always pick the wrong one? Summer in Saratoga was coming off the long layoff. Catch a Bid already had a start and frankly had much better back numbers. But I did throw Summer in Saratoga in there because in my pick five after the fact, because she was taking some money and I could afford to go deeper based on the third leg of the sequence and those scratches. So congratulations, Irad Ortiz, probably the best turf rider in the country along with Flavian Pratt right now. I would say those are 1, 2 at least on my list. All right, let's go ahead to the next race of the sequence as I turn the page here. The next race of the sequence was the New Orleans Classic. Let's go to that race. The New Orleans Classic. Sorry, I got some technical issues here. The New Orleans Classic. Now, this was one of my horses that I liked as a long shot. I talked about Enforceable, got a little grief for it on Twitter, and a little grief for it on my channel in the comments below. That's okay. I don't mind that at all. Listen, when you put public opinions out there, you have to expect a little bit of criticism. I have no problem with that. Um, some people thought the gallop out video was a little silly. Why are you concerned about a horse galloping out after the wire? Blah blah blah. I got to tell you, I think sometimes it does matter, not always. And I think the way that Enforceable ran, I think, you know, his effort did justify what I was talking about. Let's go ahead and watch the race here. As Owendale was a pretty heavy favorite here. He was the two. It's funny, there was supposedly not a lot of speed in the race, and there you see them lining up across the track. Roadster took the lead. Enforceable, by the way, right now, getting a fantastic trip. I don't know if I love him being on the inside because he's a big lumbering horse, but he sure was able to save ground. And you see Roadster, the new horse for Michael Stidham off the long layoff. I thought they might be aggressive with him. I talked about it on the preview video, and sure enough, they were aggressive with him. And it was a pretty moderate pace. They're going 24 to the first quarter, and you see everyone's sitting pretty comfortable. Ollie, my boy, the three, took a lot of money at 5-1, who was coming off of two very nice wins. You see uh, Chess Chief on the inside, the six there, saved ground the whole way. You see Sonoman is the eight. So they go 48-1 to the half. Again, pretty comfortable. If you liked Owendale or Roadster, you really have no excuses right here. You see Beshiz is asking Enforceable to stay in his position. And right here, I thought really he had a pretty good shot. They start to separate themselves a little bit. There's still three across the track. And right here, you see Enforceable actually under the whip. Enforceable right here was under the whip. It just seems to me, and they go 111-3, that when they quicken, it's hard for him to keep up. He's just a big lumbering horse that just like a locomotive, he just keeps going, but he doesn't have gears. I don't know if you caught that, but Bashiza was under the whip. And right there, I was thinking, oh boy, here we go again. He's just going to fade out of the picture, probably gallop out like a train, and I'm going to look like an idiot in front of the whole world with all my comments, right? So there are three across the track. You see the 8 horse they're moving on. Here's Chess Chief coming up in the outside. Right here, it's really anyone's race. Enforceable still on the inside trying. Right here, Owendale takes the lead, and I thought he was absolutely a winner right now, for sure. But you see he's just struggling. He's not really going on with it. And you see Chess Chief on the outside continue to try hard for Saez. And Unforceable up the inside also is continuing to run, and they hit the wire. And I got to tell you, watching it live, that's not exactly the wire, it's slightly after the wire. I thought Owendale held on. I did need Owendale to win, to stay alive in the pick five, to not have Chest Chief. So I was 1-2-5. I was alive with, and you can see Owendale ends up losing by a hair. He was in the lead the entire length of the stretch until that point at the wire. Roadster finishes a game fourth. What about 3/4 of a length back, and there is Enforceable, who was under the whip on the turn. He only finishes, about a half length, 3/4 of length behind. So again, he did not win. He finished third. I did not have the try for the simple fact that I didn't play Chess Chief on top. So those you had Chess Chief, congratulations to you. I I did not like Chess Chief. I still, frankly, don't like Chess Chief. When you have sort of five horses at the wire, only a length apart, especially in a dirt race, going a mile eighth. If you talk to any smart handicappers, they'll tell you in general that is not a good sign. This was a very weak grade two. There's not a lot of horses out of this race I'd be interested in going back, coming back, I should say, except for probably Roadster, who was off a year layoff, obviously. And I still think now Enforceable, okay, he didn't win, but look, he lost by 3/4 length in a grade two, although a weak one. I'd love to see them put this horse in those marathon dirt races. I think you have like is it the Brooklyn handicap? I believe is a mile and a half, like on Belmont weekend. Those kind of, as long as they write dirt races, that's where I'd put Enforceable. I still think he's got talent and can make some money. You just got to find the right spot for him. He's not a grade one horse by any means, so I'm not saying that at all. But I do think if they just go long, those marathon distance dirt races, and even in some mile and eighth races, depending on the spot, I think he can still make some money. But congratulations to Chess Chief and their connections. Dallas Stewart was ecstatic after the race, and good for them. Now, so let's go ahead and show the. I'm going to go ahead and show the chart very quickly of that race. If you just give me 1 second, we'll get there. So here was the chart of the race. You can see it right there. Chess Chief went off at 5-1, which seemed a little low to me personally. See, Owendale was actually 0.9, so not a little higher than 4-5. Very, very disappointing to me for Owendale. I think Owendale is better as a closer, going like a mile. I think that's his best distance, is a mile into a fast pace. I don't really think he's best going this far. He really had no excuses. He's usually not that up close, but extremely disappointing for Roadster. And you see Enforceable, who went off, at 9.6-1, finished what I thought was a very respectable third in the Grade 2 New Orleans Classic. All right, it is time for the next race in the card. This was the Mutiny Turf. It was a mile and eighth, $300,000. And the story of this race, really, I don't think was the winner necessarily. I think the story in this race were the scratches. Factor This, who I thought had a big shot from the rail, was the main speed. Scratch with apparently a minor bruised foot. So he was out of the race. I've not heard why Cross Border scratched. I think he's going into a stakes race at Turfway Park, from what I understand. I think Michael Maker just probably figured he had a better chance to win that race. So I believe that's where he went. So to me, the clear second and third choices were out of this race, which obviously changed the race completely in terms of possible upset potential. To be honest, and I talked about it on the preview show, I really didn't think that Colonel Liam for Todd Pletcher was going to get beat. Although I did use more horses underneath in my pick five ticket as backups, but I ended up using only, instead of like three, I think I used only one or two, and they are seahorses as backups. I just didn't see Colonel Liam losing. Sure enough, he got the job done. We're going to go ahead and watch that race right now as we speak. Colonel Liam was the five horse here in this race, and what a surprise. Another perfect trip by Irad Ortiz. And the one thing I like about, there's a lot of things I like about Colonel Liam, but one of the things I like is he's tactical. This is not like a dead closer. You see Irad on the 5 right there, and he's just going to get a nice trip there as he goes to the rail. You had Peace Achieved took the lead. You see Pixelate on the outside. Two Emmys actually decided to go to the lead and ran a huge race at a monster price. Two Emmys had a lot of trouble in his last start, and he ran a very big race here. But again, you see Irad just biding his time in fourth. They went a reasonable 23, basically 23 and 4 for the first quarter. And you see two Emmys just alone on the lead there for James Graham. I thought James Graham had a fantastic day in terms of his rides. He gave a fantastic ride on Joy Befora. He had a great ride here on two Emmys to slow it down. You see, they went 49 to the half. But this is what makes Irad so good. Look where he is. He is not that far back. He knows the pace. He's in a very comfortable third there on the inside, just galloping along. This is a very talented horse. He Peace Achieved on the outside. I thought Pixelate the 12 was a little bit interesting in this race. He makes a 3-wide move. You see in between horses is Logical Myth, who took some money here as well, the 6 horse. But look at this. Irad just tips out, and right here, this horse is 1 to 100 to win this race. He didn't, I wouldn't say, absolutely exploded, but he certainly went on with it very well. I don't think he was asking for like 1,000%. You see, he goes to the left hand, and two Emmys is pretty stubborn because of the slow pace. No one else really making a run. And here he just, Colonel Liam just exudes his class, and he goes on with it. He wins by, about a length and a half, 2 lengths, but I don't think anyone really thought that race was in doubt by in any way, shape, or form. At least, I didn't think so. I think most people would agree with that. Colonel Liam is having a fantastic year. He adds another graded stakes win to his resume, and he's going to be going on to I believe it's a $1 million purse in the turf race that they have on Derby Day, and I believe that's also a mile and an eighth. That's going to be just right up his alley, unless there's a horse that comes in, from overseas or just something unforeseen that I can't imagine. Colonel Liam is going to be a big favorite in that race also. He's just very good right now. This was a very weak edition of the Munez because of the scratches of Factor This and Cross Border. But take nothing away from Colonel Liam. Ran very well. Congratulations to his connections. Let's go on to the 2 3-year-old races. The next race, this is the fourth race of the Pick 5 sequence, the penultimate race of the card. And this was the race, ladies and gentlemen. My girl, Super Sensational. This was her race. I put a win bet. I put a trifecta. I talked about the trifecta I was going to play on the preview show that I was going to go basically um, Super Sensational in all 3 spots in the trifecta, along with 5, 6, 8, which was obligatory Clariere and Travel Calm were the horses that I was going to put um, that to win the race, along with Super Sensational all spots. So we'll go ahead and watch the race. Before we watch, I just want to say right off the start that Johnny Velasquez gave a great ride on Super Sensational. I talked for 2 months. I talked about it last Thursday. I just wanted this horse to have a chance, and he gave her a chance. He was aggressive out of the gate, which I really appreciated and liked everything about the ride. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the race right now. Again, Fairgrounds Oaks. There was $400,000 on the line here. It was one of the main preps for the Kentucky Oaks, and we're just going to go ahead and watch it right now. And you'll see out of the gate immediately the 3 here. Johnny Velasquez was aggressive from the start, and I love that. I wanted this horse again to get a chance. Now, I wasn't really happy that they looked like they're going a pretty quick pace, and I wasn't happy that the monster Travel Column, who I thought was the favorite and the best horse in this race, was breathing down her neck. But again, he gave this horse a shot, and when you have a long shot, that's all you can really ask for. So you see, Velasquez got a pretty good hold here on Super Sensational. You got Travel Column. It's Super Sensational. You see the odds went off at 13 to 1. Again, the second longest shot on the board in this race, while the favorite Travel Column you see it 2-1. Zagio for Pletcher was a ridiculous 6-1. I could not believe the money this horse was taking. I said it Thursday, I said it Saturday. She did not run very well. That was a lot of Todd Pletcher bad money out there. Anyway, super sensational on the lead. It's a pretty good hold here for Velasquez, but also Travel Column's got a nice hold. You see Lil Tootsie, who some people thought was very interesting, also took a ton of money. Clarier was behind her, and you see they hit the far turn, 48-3. So pretty reasonable pace there. However, Travel Calm, who is just a more mature, better horse, breathing right down Super Sensational's neck. You see little Tootsie coming up, and right here, as you see Velasquez asking, I thought maybe Super Sensational was going to fade back pretty hard, but you know what? She did fight on. Right here, she's still fighting, but again, a fantastic ride on the 8 here Travel Column. Drew lets his horse go. Really nice effort. You see Super Sensational trying, angles out. I was hoping she'd hold on for a second, obviously, but Clarier got me here. It's a long way back to everyone else. Clarier jumped to the wrong lead right there, very goofy, but was still closing. And you see Travel Column in hand, and they're Super Sensational finishing in third. And so again, I talked about it on Twitter after the race. I was hoping she'd run, a little better. Obviously, I wanted to win the race, but in all reality, if she had gotten that trip in the two previous races, first of all, she wouldn't have been 13-1. So again, there's some give and take there, of course. But really, I thought she ran absolutely fine against uh, Travelcom, who I'm going to guess is the Kentucky Derby favorite, and Clarier is right up there with one of the best 3-year-old fillies in the country. So really, there's no shame for Super Sensational and her connections to finish third against probably the two best 3-year-old fillies in the country. I'm not sure what they're going to do with her. My guess is Mark Cassidy will take her back up north to Woodbine, and she'll win a lot of money up there. I wouldn't mind seeing her coming back to Saratoga and maybe the Test Stakes and Sprinter, going like 6 or 7 furlongs. I think she might be a better sprinter. Distance, not so sure with her, but she ran a good race. She ran a good third. I had a trifecta with my top three choices that I liked in the race, 3, 6, 8 as my A's. So certainly that race was profitable for me, and hopefully you had Super Sensational in the try and made a little money there as well. Let's go to the final race of the day. This was the Louisiana Derby. $1 million, folks. There was $1 million on the line in this race, of course, for 3-year-olds. Mandaloon was the favorite. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the race right now, the replay. Mandaloon is the 6. You also had Proxy and Hot Rod Charlie, the 4 and 5, taking quite a bit of money as well. Those were the three favorites in 3 top choices in this race. You see
And to
they
throw off
break
from the
fine, except Hot
twinspires.com,
Rod Charlie did
Louisiana
come over a
Derby.
little bit. And there was some crowding a little bit early. I just want to go ahead and show this again because if you had Proxy, this is not the start you wanted. Again, you see right here, there was a bumping there. Certainly, maybe Hot Rod Charlie came in a little bit. Uh, Perhaps, the 3 came out a little bit. But anyway, Hot Rod Charlie gets the lead with Midnight Bourbon, who got a very nice trip in second. And then you see Mandaloon sort of rushing up there along with Proxy, and they're using energy to get to that spot. So Mandaloon was 3 wide. Now, he was wide before, though, and they go 23. So that's a legitimate pace going a mile and 3/16. And Mandaloon, again, he was 3 wide in previous races, but he's never been 3 wide into that kind of speed. So he had to ask a little bit to get there. Again, it's not the worst situation, but probably not the best either. You see Run Classic there a little further back, along with Starring in My Dreams and Obesos. So we'll go ahead and let it run here. Hot Rod Charlie, Joel Rosario aggressively to the lead. Midnight Bourbon, a very comfortable second. Really, Mandaloon, a pretty comfortable third, considering, again, that Drew wanted to get this horse, up close, and he was, and he's in a comfortable spot. You got a very big long shot there, right and just, sitting in the pocket. You see they're loping along. This is 47, so they got a little bit of a breather there, but certainly a moderate pace. Proxy, the four horse, there back and forth. Started in my dreams, who, by the way, I talked about in the preview show as a possible bomb, to clunk up in the money. Actually ran a pretty good race as well. Hot Rod Charlie, the lead has the lead. Midnight Bourbon again sitting exactly where he wants to. Now you see Drew asking right here, and Mandaloon's not really responding, and neither is Proxy. So you knew right here, or at least I believe, those two horses might be in trouble. Midnight Bourbon getting an excellent trip right here, just stalking right off. And now it's just a question of stamina and class. And you see Proxy and Mandaloon just sort of going up and down. Not a huge factor, especially Mandaloon. Proxy does run on a little bit, but a non-threat really. And you see Hot Rod Charlie continuing to grind, grind, grind. Great effort there. Midnight Bourbon just can't quite see out the distance. And Obesos with actually a surprising good third. And there's Proxy running, I would say, an underestimated fourth. This is a pretty sneaky, decent fourth place finish for a horse that clearly had some trouble at the start. He didn't give up. If you're a fan of Proxy, I would not give up on this horse. I thought that was actually a pretty good effort right there by Proxy to finish fourth. And I don't know if he has enough points to get in the Kentucky Derby. I'd have to take a look. I don't think he does, or I don't think he will. If he wants to go to the Derby, he's going to have to run in another race, which is probably unlikely. So we'll have to see, check the point situation coming out of this race. I know what I would do if I were connections of Proxy. I would not rush this horse. If I was Michael Stidham, I would not rush this horse, to get into another race, just the Derby. I'd rest him up for the Preakness. That's what I would personally do. I am not a trainer. I'm not an owner. But if I own the horse, I'd probably give. He's run three, tough races all down in Fairgrounds. I'd give him a little rest here and then run him in the Preakness. And I think if you ran in the Preakness, of course we have no idea what's going to be happening with the Derby right now. But I think if you ran the Preakness, he'd have a decent shot in that race. That's what I personally do. We'll see what the connections of Proxy will do going forward. But the story here, Hot Rod Charlie, coming in from California for Leandro Mora. Fantastic ride by Rosario to be aggressive. And what that shows you is the California form, you're going to have to upgrade. Does that mean you upgrade Medina Spirit, who was right there with Hot Rod Charlie in their last start? I don't know. We'll see where Medina Spirit is going to run next time, but I guess you need to upgrade him as well. I would say upgrade Life is Good, but of course Life is Good is off the Triple Crown Trail. So again, the California horses between Hot Rod Charlie and Concert Tour and whoever else we'll see, those two horses look like they're definitely going to be a factor in the Kentucky Derby come the 1st of May. So that's it for the review show. Hope you enjoyed the commentary. Again, please comment down below on how your day went. I hope you hit the pick five. This has been sort of a common theme for me, it seems, lately, where I'm not hitting the pick five. But again, I had a lot of very good opinions with my, or at least I felt they were pretty good opinions with my three long shots. Was able to cash in on one of them on Super Sensational. And also, there's some horses I didn't like who also did not run well. So again, it was a little bit of a mixed bag. Listen, you're not going to hit a home run every weekend. I've talked about it in this game. If you want to be a millionaire and hit every single race, then get tomorrow's newspaper, and I'm sure we'd all be millionaires, or tomorrow's internet page in this world. But again, it's a tough game. Some days are good, some days not so much, and you just learn from your mistakes, and you are happy about the wins you have, and you move on. So again, next Thursday night, please join me. Again, I really appreciate my Twitter is blowing up in a good way. I have a lot more subscribers. Again, please make sure you subscribe over there. Tell your friends about this show. If you enjoy the commentary, hopefully I'm giving you some good ideas. Hopefully you're getting some winners as well, because overall, since I started the channel, it's been a very good, profitable 2 months with the horses that I've given out in my opinions. I know you have a lot of choices on who you can watch on the internet. There's a lot of excellent handicappers and shows out there, and I thank you for making me a part of your handicapping puzzle and entertainment. I appreciate that, and we'll see if we can continue to entertain you and get you some more winners going forward. So thank you very much. I hope to see you next Thursday night for our live stream, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. This has been Howard Kravitz for Howard's Horse Handicapping. I'm on my way to Vegas. I'll see you Thursday night. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.